What oils do you suggest? I'm over 60 and my wife is not in the mood. I just want to take the pressure off of her. Okay. So I think that one of the best ways to take the pressure off of your wife, I see this a lot. I remember the first time I gave Viagra to a gentleman, patient of mine. I was so excited. He was coming back in telling me how amazing the Viagra was working and everything. This was back when that's really all we did was just give Viagra, before we know better now. Um, and his wife made an appointment to come in without him. And she was like, Doctor, please do not keep giving him that stuff. She's like, I had gotten used to not really having to have sex. Now I got to have sex. And she was talking to me like it was like eating the worst meal you could possibly imagine. Like, please don't make me do this. And so it really put me in a bad position because I'm like, well, look, he's my patient and he wants the Viagra. She's coming in. She's not my patient, but she doesn't want him to get the Viagra, right? So I'm telling you that story because once you've been in a relationship long enough with somebody, sometimes the other person checks out and isn't really all that interested in sex. And the key to getting them back interested in sex, sure, we can focus on bringing back vaginal moisture, getting the moisture right, using the right lubricant and all of that. But really, we got to focus on pleasure, and we've got to start pleasing them in a way that makes them feel sexual. And I think what's hardest about that process is that, as a gentleman, you've been having sex the same way for years and you feel like, like what? She used to like this and now she's saying she doesn't really like it anymore. Well, the body changes and our tastes evolve, right? Like you can think of stuff you used to eat or drink and now you're like, gosh, how did I even ever eat that? Yeah, I don't even like it anymore. So what you've got to do is kind of get back in touch with trying to figure out what exactly does she like. So I would say one of the first things you want to do is get her a little vibrator. You guys can click around and look, and say, hey, I was thinking about maybe, us trying to get back into enjoying sex more because I know you don't really enjoy it as much as you used to. So why don't we get you a little vibrator? The great part about starting with a vibrator is that clinically, as a sexologist, one of the main ways that we help women rejuvenate down there and bring moisture back is to get them a little vibrator. And the preferred way is a vibrator that has a little bit of suction at the end of it. So that as it's vibrating, it's sucking on her clitoris and it's helping improve engorgement or blood flow. Because just like you get an erection, she gets an erection too. It's just the erectile tissue in a lady is the clitoral tissue. And the clitoris starts in that little, outward area, but it actually dips down into the walls of the vagina. So when we're starting to increase blood flow to the clitoris, just kind of like as we were talking about earlier, improving blood flow anywhere rejuvenates it, right? This is why we talk about pumping. This is why we talk about dick ups. This is why we talk about moving more and increasing circulation. This is why we talk about the testicular massage. Like we're bringing blood flow to an area. So if you start out, get her a nice vibrator and some lubes. So with ladies, everybody's vagina is a little different. Everybody's clitoris is a little different. Everybody's vulva is a little different. So what lube may work for one lady, the next lady may hate it. She may hate how it smells. It may make her itch, all of that. So get a variety of different lubes for her to try with her vibrator. Now, with that vibrator, say, listen, studies show that if you use this vibrator 4 or 5 times a week, that you could start to get moist naturally again. You could start to have feeling back down there. This might improve your sex drive. Listen, one of the quickest ways to get a lady's sex drive back is to get her masturbating. And if you can get her to buy into playing with herself more, then she'll start thinking about sex more and she can actually start to rejuvenate not just the tissue down there and to get things back moisture and ready, but also her brain. She'll just start thinking about sex more. So for the ladies who haven't masturbated before, she's a good church girl. She don't want to do that. She's never touched herself down there. What you want to do is start with a little bit of erotica. So what erotica is just reading aloud things that, we don't really talk about or say. So if you guys get an erotic novel, and I could make some suggestions of which one's there, get an erotic novel. She reads a few pages to you. You read a few pages to her. She reads a few pages to you. You read a few pages to her. And listen, when you start to hear your person say words that you've never heard them say before, when the two of you start to read these stories and you're like, what happens next? Well, he rips her clothes off and he takes her from behind and so on and so forth. What it does too is it helps you realize, well, shit, I never even knew you were interested in this. So it helps you like pull the layers off of other things that may be happening in their brain sexually. But two, it becomes a turn on, right? So she can start to use the erotic stories as a stimulus for the masturbation piece, right? So a nice vibrating little object that has a little suction on the end of it to kind of suck the clitoris, but she needs lube on it. So what the lube does is allows that little device to kind of just suck on it and get a little bit of suction going and help it improve things there. So 30 to 40 minutes. Some ladies need 30 or 40 minutes 4 times a week. And you would be surprised how quickly things start to change. She starts to be out and she's like, oh my goodness. And, so start there. Start with connecting, having that conversation. Start with the device. Start with a little erotica. Start with, trying out different lubes, letting her know what's happening. And what you want to do during this process of her rediscovering her sexuality is you don't be real involved in it. The worst thing is she thinks it's all about you. So she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then you're like over there, with your thing, like trying to get in the hole that she's just rejuvenating, right? So let her have at it for 2 to 3 weeks of her rediscovering herself. Ask her if you can watch. Ask her to take a picture or videotape it if she's too shy for it or you're not there. So tease it. Don't just be like, okay, okay, it was great. So even when she tells you she thinks it's coming back alive, still just be like, okay, still flirt with it. Don't overdo it. Don't be overzealous. Don't just dive right back in it. Just let her start to rejuvenate and feel sexual again. And then there. So then the other part to that is gifts, do really nice things that you guys used to do. Buy her nice stuff, make her life a little easier, stimulate all those pieces that helps her feel like you're trying to be romantic again, because that's one of the big complaints too, is like, well, he says I don't like sex anymore, but he doesn't try. He doesn't wine me and dine me. He's not doing anything romantic. We just go out to dinner and look at each other, buy some flowers, do sweet things, send some of your favorite songs, the songs you guys, that used to make you guys just, melt all over each other. Find the YouTube video, send it to her throughout the day and be like, this made me think of you, just flirt. And all of that can help rejuvenate her just not wanting to have sex very often. But you got to kind of start on both of those places. You got to start with her brain. You got to start with the clitoral area, helping her rejuvenate. And then I also want you to know that for women who are, aging a little bit, we need our vaginal pH to be a little bit more acidic. So every now and then, getting into a little bath water that has apple cider vinegar in it kind of helps rebalance the pH and can help with this process of rejuvenating too. So running a little bath water, putting a little bit of apple cider vinegar in it, tell her in advance, or else she's going to get in here and be like, what'd you put in here? This stank. Woo-wee. Then it's something else, right? So just be honest and open about it. Try those things and let me know how you're doing. It's great.